Welcome to another installment of our Alumni Spotlights. I'm very lucky to get the opportunity to interview Connor. Connor, could you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks. Hi, my name's Connor Brett. Um, I was a computer science undergrad with ISTA minor at U of A. I graduated in 2022. Um, I grew up in Campbell, California. It's a small town outside of San Jose, California. Um, for the past couple of years since graduating, I've been working as a software engineer at Google up here in Seattle. Um, and one thing that I've been doing since moving up here in my free time is I've been raising and training guide dog puppies to become guide dogs. Um, I have him here with me actually. I try to see if I can get he's over there in the corner.
Oh my God, that's a cutie. Oh, that's so great. What made you get interested in doing training guide dogs?
So at at my office, like a couple years ago, there was a presentation where the organization came in with a bunch of volunteers and puppies, and I initially went just because obviously who doesn't want to see puppies, but yeah, I missed having a dog back home and not really having one that much throughout college, and but also wasn't sure if I wanted to get one of my own because that's also a big commitment. So this is a shorter term option for something like that, and it's been super fun.
That sounds like a rewarding experience as well. That's great.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see. He's my first one, and I have not had to say goodbye to any of them yet. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
So you're originally from Campbell, California.
Mhm.
What made you decide to pursue undergraduate education at the University of Arizona?
Um, One thing after living in California, it's hard to adjust to weather anywhere else. So one thing was that yeah, I wanted to stay somewhere that was warm, but also not too close to home. Um, yeah, I wanted to get a different, more diverse experience than what I grew up with and went to high school with. So yeah, and obviously I love sports and I love going to football, basketball games. So that was a big part of what I was looking for in a school I went to.
There is definitely a lot of school spirit when it comes to athletics here on campus. I could
Mhm,
definitely see that they would be a great match.
mhm.
Why did you pick computer science as your major while you were here at the university?
I always, or since probably sophomore year of high school, I kind of knew CS was what I wanted to get into. After growing up in the Bay Area, it's a very, also known as Silicon Valley. It's very computer science focused and tech focused. So a lot of my friends were going into it. My dad works in tech, so he knew it was a good space to get into. So yeah, like I knew that was kind of what I wanted to do no matter where I went. And yeah, it worked out.
It definitely did. I mean, now you're working for Google, and so your trajectory has ended you, or you're at where you wanted to be, which is wonderful. Reflecting back on your experience while you were here at the university, can you share with us maybe an enjoyable experience, your most enjoyable experience while you were here?
I would I'll probably yeah, I would say yeah, just the general like each year going to football games, going to basketball games. Yeah, it's a more generic experience, but I love the spirit, being able to like talk to my friends that I went to school with and like relate in our pain over getting knocked out in March Madness every year. But yeah, it's just yeah, there are a lot of things, a lot of like really great experiences that you get in college that I yeah, and trying to still carry on throughout, even after graduating, just keeping up with the teams and yeah, it's a good way to keep up with friends too.
Once a fan, always a fan, right?
Yeah,
So,
unfortunate, for better, for worse.
what about your experience while you were in the Department of Computer Science? What's something that you enjoyed most about that?
Um, I think the most enjoyable experience was working as a tutor and then eventually tutor coordinator at at the CS department. Um, I started out my first year going to the tutor center all the time and really appreciated how helpful it was and wanted to give back and return that for other students. And yeah, I ended up enjoying it enough. And then by the time it was my last year or so, I was helping run it. So yeah, that was probably my favorite experience in the department.
The tutor center was definitely valued by a lot of students, and having amazing students like yourself who knew the material and helped each other out and were paying it forward by helping others, that was a great experience. So I'm glad it was enjoyable for you as well.
Mhm.
So tell us, was there any faculty member and in our department, in the Department of Computer Science at U of A, that had a positive impact on you? And how did they do so, if you do have any?
I have a couple that I'll talk about briefly. One, as far as like teaching faculty, Dr. Anson was one of the most enthusiastic and engaging professors. I took him for 473 Automata. Not sure if it's still called that, but um, uh, yeah, that was one of my more memorable classes. It was very difficult, but he explained it in a way that I really understood pretty well, and just you could tell like how enthusiastic and how passionate he was about it, which makes it a lot easier to get interested and be engaged yourself. Um, yeah, he just made it a lot. He just made a difficult, notoriously difficult course a lot more manageable. Um, yeah, and then elsewhere in the faculty, I have to shout out Martine. Um, you were so like easy and like great to work with throughout my few years as a tutor, and then basically working together with you to run the tutor center. Um, so yeah, thank you.
Well, that's very nice of you to say, Connor. You made it easy. Having working with great students such as yourself, it made it super easy to do. Thank you for that. And I'm glad Dr. Anson had such a positive impact on you. I've heard wonderful things about his classes, so I'm glad
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
had the opportunity to do that. So tell us a little bit about your role as a software engineer working for Google. What is it that you do? What excites you about it? And how did you get that position? And why is that position important?
So I am currently a software engineer. I work under Google Cloud, which is one of Google's fastest growing product areas. Um, I work on a team that we just launched a product like few months ago. Essentially a managed version of an open source product. The open source product is called Flink. It's a data pipeline runner. Essentially, what a managed product is, though, is it just there are all these like knobs and sliders and configurations you can make to open source products, and making it managed on Google Cloud is a way for customers to have a very easy option to use their open source pipelines, but not have to manage everything themselves. Um, so I started full time at Google basically through internships. I did two. I did one after my second year, one after my third year. Um, I got the one after my second year by applying through the STEP internship program. And I actually went to Google what was going to the U of A campus every like beginning of every year. I'm not sure if they still are, but after my first 2 years, I went to those events, and they were like helping with like coding challenges and resume reviews and interview prep and stuff like that. So I went to those and I got some really good advice. And yeah, I mean, honestly, got lucky. It's there's a lot of luck involved with getting like even getting an interview at a big company. Um, so yeah, yeah, big takeaway from that was go to the on-campus events. Those were we also got free pizza and t-shirts and stuff, so highly recommend. Um, um, oh yeah, I forgot one thing that excites me about this. I think it's super cool working with like incredibly intelligent and capable people. Um, I yeah, there's a saying, I can't remember by who, but um, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room, or find a different room or something. And I feel like I am the dumbest person in the room whenever I'm at team meetings or at Google. It's pretty cool. It's cool being around like top talent like that. Um, yeah,
It challenges you and it makes you grow when you learn, right? You're,
absolutely. Yeah, there's always more to learn. There's always room to grow.
yeah. What advice would you give a student who's looking to get into working as a software engineer, working as a software engineer at Google?
Uh, it's the industry has changed so much over the past few years, so it's kind of hard for me to say like my process will is already different from what people are going through now. Um, just for example, when I got my first internship, I only had to do 2 hour-long phone interviews, whereas now there's like an online assessment before and then other stuff. That's just for for the freshman and sophomore internship. So yeah, just disclaimer, my experience is not the same as what a lot of people go through these days, but um I think what is really important is obviously like the like leak code, like you have to know your data structures and algorithms. Um but then also I think interview prep, like mock interviews and stuff are really important. Um whether like you ask a faculty member, or professor, or like just interview with your friends. Um Practicing talking through problems is a very important skill for like phone interviews or in-person interviews. Um, Probably gets overlooked, but yeah, these days you need to get past an OA before before anything. So you definitely need to be on top of your leak code too. Um, yeah, and then Google specifically, um, I don't know. There's too much specific to Google. Like I think most big tech companies are the same. You just need to apply to all of them. Hope you can get an interview, and then yeah, once you get an interview, just prepare as much as you can.
Good advice. And yeah, you're right. It's constantly changing. It's important to stay on top of those things. What advice would you give a student who is watching this video and may be considering computer science at the U of A? What advice would you give that student?
Um, I would say if you like problem solving and you enjoy the process of like just putting your head down, coding, just trying to yeah, just figuring out like the intricacies of all these different technologies and languages and stuff, it's like definitely give it a shot. Um, it can seem overwhelming at first, but I promise you, everyone feels that way all the time. Um, or maybe not all the time. Sometimes you feel on top of the world. Sometimes you feel like you know everything, but um, yeah, it's a very interesting and extremely rewarding field. It's cutting edge, like the amount of talent and resources there are, especially at big companies. It's really cool. Um, and yeah, the U of A has a great program with a lot of like a ton of help as far as like TAs and tutors and faculty. Like there's so many resources. If you won't feel like you're isolated or like stranded ever. Um, Especially if you reach out and look for it.
It's great. Yeah, there's definitely that component that students need to be proactive and do and engage. So that's great.
Mhm.
What advice would you give to a student who's already here, who's already in computer science at the U of A?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of reiterating the last part about, yeah, using all your resources. I think that was the biggest thing that I felt like helped me out when I was at the U of A. Um, I went to all the on campus events with the different employers. I went to the career fairs. Um, there was also the added benefit of all the free food and dinners and stuff, which is also awesome. But um, yeah, just like getting practice talking to employers. Like when I was a freshman, I still went to the career fair just to practice talking to employers, even though I wasn't even going to be staying in Tucson over the summer. So it was just the practice, like taking advantage of everything, going to the tutor center, going to office hours. There are a lot of resources and they're there for a reason. So I think that was the biggest thing for me that I felt like helped me out.
Well, that's great. Connor, I want to thank you again for sharing all your experience, for sharing your advice, and spending some time with us today. Thanks again, and can keep success on keep going with your success at working at Google.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks.